part. And so amid all of this chaos and disruption to Americans' economic well-being, Trump has recently announced that he is pausing his tariffs on both Canada and Mexico until April. And of course, this closely mirrors the exact same strategy he used against the countries just a month ago, except this time, he didn't even bother to pretend that he extracted some sort of concession from Canada and Mexico. Remember when he pretended that getting Canada to announce some fentanyl czar was a huge win? This time, he just straight up delayed them after the stock market tanked to its worst day of the year. If you are looking for the closest thing to an acknowledgement from Trump that his own policies do not work, you just got it. Here's how he responded when he was asked how he feels about hurting Americans' retirement savings through his reckless and unnecessary policies.
President Trump, what's your thought about why the markets are so spooked? Do you think they don't like the tariffs, or do they not like the uncertainty with some of the changes and the carve-outs?
Well, a lot of them are globalist countries and companies that won't be doing as well because we're taking back things that have been taken from us many years ago. We've been treated very unfairly as a country. We protect everybody. We do everything for all these countries. And a lot of these are globalist in nature. You know, they have, if you're outside of the United States, you know, it's going to be a little bit different. We just weren't treated right. We were ripped off as a country. I've been saying it for a long time. And I did it to a certain extent in the first administration, but with COVID coming in, we had to focus on that toward the end. But we had the greatest economy in history in the first administration, and I think we'll do even better now. But this is something that we have to do. There'll always be a little short-term interruption. I don't think it's going to be big, but the countries and companies that have been ripping us aren't particularly happy with what I'm doing.
Ah, right. It's not his awful policies' fault. No, of course not. It's the fault of the companies that are being forced to deal with the rampant uncertainty that's caused by his tariffs. Got it. Here's the reality. Trump is actively causing your 401k to plummet, your neighbors to lose their jobs, your prices to rise, and our global reputation to be lit on fire, which endangers our national security. Mind you, he's managed to do all of this in less than 2 months, and even he's aware enough to understand that his actions are being noticed by people who wouldn't otherwise pay attention. Hell, even his own voters are apparently getting pissed at his policies. We're now seeing instance after instance of Republican congressmen bragging that they got carve-outs to protect their own district from the devastation that's caused by Trump's policies. Here's Republican Senator James Lankford of Oklahoma. I have been tracking reports of potential layoffs at McAllister Army Ammunition Plant. If we were to have a loss of civilian workforce there, we would face serious issues. I've been in contact with the White House and DoD to emphasize the important national security mission carried out every day at McAllister. I will continue to monitor reports and advocate for McAllister. Tell you what, perhaps James Lankford might want to let his U.S. Senator know to stop kowtowing to the guy who is responsible for all of this. And then there's Republican Representative Tom Cole. After working closely with DOJ and the administration, I am thrilled to announce that common sense has prevailed as the National Weather Center in Norman, the Social Security Administration office in Lawton, and the Indian Health Services office in Oklahoma City will remain operational in Oklahoma. All three of these places provide vital and valuable services to Oklahoma, and I am so proud to have advocated for them. As the representative for Oklahoma's 4th District, I will always fight for Oklahoma and my constituents. Now, Tom Cole is the chairman of the House Appropriations Committee, so while he has the privilege to be able to brag about securing commitments like this, the rest of the country, especially Democratic areas of this country, will be just shit out of luck because Trump doesn't like that they didn't vote for them. Honestly, though, this shouldn't be a surprise to anybody who was paying attention during this last election. Here's Elon Musk late last year acknowledging that Donald Trump's agenda will bring hardship to the middle class and calling it necessary.
We have to reduce spending to live within our means. That necessarily involves some temporary hardship, but it will ensure long-term prosperity.
In other words, the guy who flies around the world in his private jet, who collects billions of dollars in taxpayer-funded subsidies for his companies, who slashes Americans' health care and earned benefits, and who dismantles the very agencies that are intended to hold him accountable, thinks that you struggling is just a necessary sacrifice. This is my shocked face. And if you think that it's just Musk, think again. Here is another one of Trump's billionaire buddies, Jamie Dimon, openly admitting that Trump's tariffs will drive up prices for working class Americans and that they should just get over it.
Yeah, look, I look at tariffs, they are an economic tool. That's it. They're an economic weapon, depending how you use it and why you use it and stuff like that. And, people argue, is it inflationary and non-inflationary? I would put in perspective, If it's a little inflationary, but it's good for national security, so be it.
If you're a working or middle-class American supporting this administration, I say this with respect, because unlike this White House, I'm not going to lie to you. You are being robbed. This is one of the biggest scams in American history. They do not care about you. They're not protecting your job. They're firing thousands of workers and gutting labor protections. They aren't protecting your retirement. They're tanking your 401k and going after Social Security. They aren't lowering prices. They are actively raising them despite promising to lower them on day one. Look, I don't care what party you support. This administration is making it painfully clear that the real fight isn't left versus right. It is between the ultra-rich hoarding wealth and the working class being handed scraps, all while distracting you with fights over all of 10 trans athletes in the NCAA. If ever there was a time to recognize the reality of what's happening, it is right this very second. Before you go, first, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we're now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they're willing to cater to this White House. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a great way for me to be able to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's completely free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support my work. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.